Hey everybody, we're talking about hips this month, and I'm John here with Justin. Justin, when you're thinking about hips, what are some of your favorite go-tos, or what do you think about when you're dealing with hips?
The big thing is are we dealing with mobility first and then stability, and that's typically the way I look at it. So ultimately, if we free up any range of motion, we got to make sure that that patient walks out safe and able to control that motion that we created.
Sure.
So typically we'll see that limitation with hip internal rotation or hip extension or both. So that's usually where I go first, and then we kind of piece it out from there.
Hey, I mean, that makes a ton of sense with what we do every day, right?
Yeah.
Getting in this position and letting these tissues tighten down. I'm going to show the couch stretch, something we use every day to open up that front of the hip. So to try to get that length back that we lose by spending so much time seated, we get down with our feet against the wall and then bring one knee back. Now the key here is to really contract the glute here, this big muscle that opens up the hip. And when I contract the glute, now my hip is organized. So instead of just stretching any which way, I turn the glute on, and now the tissues that cross my hip are actually being stretched in a way that we need them to work. So here's my limit, because this is not easy, but spending some time here really gives you more length. And once you've progressed, you can bring the other leg up, and now you're mimicking the natural motion that we get when we're walking or running, challenging the pelvis.
Yeah, and kind of piggybacking on with this, like the bipedal nature of the way that we move, where one foot's on the ground and then the other one comes up and through, bringing that leg through adds a little torque to the pelvis and challenges it just a little bit more. So if you can do that, you're kind of progressing yourself through there. So moving on to the next thing that I really like, it's the 90-90 position.
Sure.
So for that one, we get down into a 90-90 position with the knees and the hips at that same position here. And then what we're gonna do is keep the pelvis turned forward so we're even with the shin, and then we're gonna pivot over that. But at the end of the day, I wanna make sure I'm pushing down with my knee, and while I'm doing that, I'm using the glute on that left side, right? And then if you want to make it harder, you just take away your points of stability, your hands. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm still a little stiff, but at the end of the day, as you work through this and do this more, getting that hinge is going to be better, but then also creating that posterior or the right glute, the back leg, being able to lift the knee or lift the foot or lift the whole leg entirely gives a little bit more strength and control once you free up the range.
Sure, that motor control, that end range of being able to show your brain that you're safe and you can be in control at those places where we kind of get out on the edges there.
Right.
Yeah. So thinking about that and creating more motor control and maybe more length in the hip. What's one of your favorite ways to tie it all together?
I really like the single leg RDL for a lot of reasons. It has a balance component. It has a hip component. We can tweak the foot. We can tweak the upper body to tie in the hip more. So it really depends on what that person has, but this is a great way of assessing, can they do this? A lot of people are also afraid to have both feet down for a back injury. If we take one leg away, the back's a lot happier, right? But adding that balance component ties it all together and really tests the whole system. So it gives you that global approach that we're really, really wanting.
Yeah, and asking someone to be able to be balanced and controlled in that single leg stance that is the hallmark of running.
Right. And walking to some degree.
Sure.
Right? But ultimately, that's kind of where we're at. So at the end of the day, if this is helpful for you and you think that this would be something that you want to know a little bit more, feel free to schedule a discovery call or book an appointment with us online.